Ant-Man and the Wasp brings Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly back into the title roles as a size-changing superhero duo. Along for the ride are all their pals, families, a collection of new villains, and more tiny buildings and gigantic Pez dispensers than you can even try to count. While the action-packed movie occurs in the space between Civil War and Infinity War, Scott Lang's house arrest means that he keeps a very separate life from his one-off adventure with the Avengers, so it's not easy to find a whole lot of Easter eggs in this film. But there are a good deal of references that dive deep into Marvel lore, and at least one extremely meta cameo. Let's check out the secrets of Ant-Man and the Wasp, however small they may be. Stan the Man. Let's get the most obvious, impossible to miss cameo out of the way first. You'll find Stan Lee, the co-creator of Ant-Man, and the man credited as one of the main architects of the Marvel Comics universe, attempting to get into his car during the second half of the film, during the car chase scene through the streets of San Francisco. In April 2018, it was reported that Lee had filmed multiple cameos at the same time, not because of fading health, but because he simply isn't into flying around to different movie sets. The same report confirmed that he's already filmed his cameo in Avengers 4. He is hoping we get to see him for another 10 years of Marvel movies. Young Avengers. Even if you're unfamiliar with Scott Lang in the comics, you can probably guess that his badass daughter will one day become a superhero herself. It's clear that she desperately wants to help out her dad.
You are my bestest friend.
What is that thing?
He's so ugly! I love him!
A brilliant kid in the comics, she ends up spending time at the Four Freedoms Plaza with the Fantastic Four, where, surrounded by superheroes herself, she develops a taste for adventure and eventually joins the Young Avengers. For now, her conversations about being her dad's partner in heroism are a predictive but distant dream. They'll fight side by side someday, and if casting rumors are to be believed for Avengers 4, she'll be back much sooner than expected, as a 16-year-old kid, probably ready for a fight. Egghead and Jimmy. Jimmy Woo's appearance in Ant-Man and the Wasp isn't so much an Easter egg as a trip deep into Marvel's past. Originally appearing in the comics in 1956, Woo is a government agent much like he is on the big screen. He's drifted in and out of secret organizations for decades, but he's most notable just for being a pretty good agent, as well as a very positive deviation from the negative stereotypes Asians face in the comics during the 50s and 60s. Burrowed a little deeper is Ava Starr. On the big screen, he's the father of Ghost, but the comics tell a very different story. Starr first appeared in 1962's Tales to Astonish issue 38 as the villainous Egghead. His first arch-nemesis was, of course, Ant-Man, and his grand plot was to simply turn all of Ant-Man's ants against him. True love prevails, however, and Ant-Man is not betrayed by his ants, despite Egghead's super science. As far as the comics are concerned, it's Starr who helped Darren Cross develop his Yellow Jacket armor. The MCU Starr might not be such a good guy after all either. Co-host with the most. Perhaps the most meta reference in the MCU is the appearance of comedian and professional weirdo Tim Heidecker as whaleboat captain Daniel Goobler, spelled with 3 O's.
Sorry, I'm messing around.
Heidecker is the co-host of the satirical On Cinema at the Cinema video series alongside Greg Turkington, where the two hosts battle for movie superiority and to get the best movie cameos. You'll remember Turkington as the Baskin-Robbins manager in the original Ant-Man, a cameo which enraged him to the point where he allegedly paid $15,000 for his brief cameo in Fox's Fantastic Four reboot as Reed Richards' useless father. Tim returns now with the best cameo yet, hosting San Francisco whaleboat tours. What does it all mean? Only that Paul Rudd hangs out with some pretty funny people.
I'm gonna give it 5 bags of popcorn, along with maybe an Ant-Man DVD that I would collect some residuals on.
Mass media. Obviously, Ant-Man isn't the first movie to play with the idea of objects and creatures of unusual sizes. 1954's Them was all about massive, irradiated ant invaders. Ant-Man and the Wasp references this in 2 ways. It's the feature that Scott, Hope, and Cassie are watching at the end of the film, after Scott finally allows his daughter to have a real adventure as a super tiny person. Additionally, when Bill Foster is cornered by Pym's giant ants in his labs, he utters, "It's them!" But if you know your 1970s movies, you'll also recognize Animal House playing on TV in an early scene. Specifically, we get a scene in which a very drug-induced conversation centers around the idea of an entire universe being contained in an atom in a fingernail.
One tiny atom in my fingernail could be
one little tiny universe.
That's basically the definition of the quantum realm. Thanks for the enlightenment, stoner comedy. Single frames. Many viewers left the original Ant-Man with a distinct impression that they'd seen Janet Van Dyne trapped in the quantum realm, even for a split second. Of course, it couldn't really be proven until home viewers could pause frames selectively at home, but we knew she was there. This time around, Marvel's Kevin Feige has definitely confirmed that we'll have to wait for a home release to see the single frames of MCU hints that director Peyton Reed has slipped into the movie's various realms. We already know that Doctor Strange got a quick view of the quantum realm as he zipped through the multiverses, and that the trip is made perilous by time vortices. And we also know that Avengers 4 seems to be playing fast and loose with time travel and the possibility of multiverses. With so many ways to traverse time and space, anything is possible and anything can be in there. We just won't know what's up until we hit the pause button. One thing is for certain, it's not really the Marvel Universe until we see MODOK.
I am MODOK. I am the ultimate inhuman-machine interface. I am designed only for conquest.
Make it happen, Marvel. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.